Hello, 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 friends. Ariana here of the 5D Business Collective. Today is the first of a series of Instagram lives I'm going to be doing on here called 3D Business Bytes. So over here at the 5D Business Collective, we are really about doing business in an intuitive way, in operating with outside of these traditional systems and structures that have been built around business. And a lot of the time that allows us to talk about really fun things like intuition in business, working with your guides, finding different ways to do things. And as much as I love to talk about all of that stuff, and personally, I would much rather talk about those kinds of things, the reality is that there are some more like quote unquote 3D kinds of things that are really helpful for folks to know about. Ooh, sweet, I'm working out with Court, love it. And so, members of our community, we have a lot of brand new business owners inside our membership program, The Collective. Little plug for that. You can hang out with us in monthly gatherings each month. And every single one of them has brought up things about wanting to learn about stuff like registering a business, charging tax, like just little questions that you might have, like how often do I promote things, that kind of thing. So I wanted to start doing this series here on IG Live, talking about some of these little things that they're so small, I don't even want to work them into a course or anything like that. So these are kind of just like little mini trainings that you can refer back to. And today, what I want to talk about is registering your business. Now, what I will preface this conversation by saying, I'm going to preface this conversation with the fact that everything I'm going to share today is from a business owner in British Columbia, Canada's perspective. So things might be a little bit different from province to province. And if you're not based in Canada, it will probably also be quite different. And then there's different municipality things and stuff like that. It's all just a bunch of bullshit, but we need to do it. So I'm going to cover it. So what are we talking about today? Within registering our business, the question that came up, and let me look, I just have some notes here. The person had asked, how much money do I need to make before I need a business license? And this is kind of a loaded question because money made and business license, hey Trisha, money and business license is kind of irrelevant. It's like money and GST. So I wanted to cover or bring in registering with the BC government, registering for a business license, and registering for GST. So those are the three things that we're going to talk about. So first thing that I want to go through is registering your business with the British Columbia government. So there is a website. I will put it in the notes afterwards. I'm going to save this as an IGTV on our feed. But it's a website, onestop.gov.bc.ca. And this is going to walk you through all of the steps that you need to go through, whether it's for registering your business, getting a name request. So if you want to have a business that's not your name, for example, so I could register my business as, or I could run my business as Ariana Fotonakis and not need to do anything. If I want to register as the 5D Business Collective, I have to put in that name request. So you can do that through One Stop. You can also apply for your business license there. You can register for GST. You can register for PST if you need to. You can do it all on this one website, which is great because back in the day when I started doing all of this, it was different websites for everything and different processes. It was just not this streamlined. So y'all are very lucky if you haven't done this yet. So first thing that we want to do when we go to One Stop is do a name request. And that is if you are going to run your business as something other than your name. So do your name request. I think you have to pay $30, if I'm not mistaken, to be able to request that. And then once you approve it, then they'll give you a number and then you can go on to the next steps. So the next thing that you would want to look at once you have your name request done is when you're registering your business. Are you going to register it as a sole proprietor? Are you registering as a partnership if you have somebody else that you're running your business with you? Are you going to register as a corporation? So there's a few things to consider about this. And sole proprietor is just one individual running their business. That's what I am. That's what I've been since I registered my business. I first registered in 2013, so 8 years ago. And that's what I am now. I haven't incorporated my business yet. So if you are a solo entrepreneur or you even still want to maybe outsource some things here and there, have a couple like part-time team members like I have. You can totally do a sole proprietorship. With incorporating, some people say that you should incorporate your business right from the get-go. And I disagree with that. It's not a blanket statement. So this is where we can take these like 3D business concepts and use our intuition and check in with ourselves to actually see if that feels right for us in that moment. So what to consider if you're thinking about incorporating your business, the first thing you want to think about is like, do you need liability protection? So one of the benefits of being incorporated is that your business becomes its own entity. And I love teaching my students when I'm teaching business in our course, the 5D Business Academy. I do teach them to approach their business as if it were its own entity. It has its own spirit. It has its own energetic component. It has medicine that it wants to share with the world. But this is like its own entity from a legal perspective. So the government actually sees your business like there's you, and then there's your business. And the benefit of this is that if somebody sues you, they are suing your business and not you if you're incorporated. So, when I was a personal trainer, this could have been helpful. Like, thankfully I never injured anybody, but if I did, and if I got sued, that would be on me. So they could come after like my assets, things like that. Whereas if you are incorporated, they can just go after the business. So, like worst case scenario, your business like gets shut down. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Don't listen to me on that regard, but that's something to consider. Another benefit to being incorporated is that you can save on tax, which I will try not to rant on this too much, but I think it's absolute bullshit that as a corporation, you pay significantly less taxes than somebody as a small business owner. I pay, when I work it out, it's like 25 to 30% of my business income, like I pay in taxes. And as a corporation, I can't remember how much it is. I think it's like 12% or something. I think it's something absolutely ridiculous like that. And I just don't understand why small business owners get taxed out the wazoo, whereas corporations can pay a lot less in taxes. And then if you're someone like Bezos who doesn't pay any taxes, it just drives me fucking crazy. Anyway, there is that. Now with incorporating, hey Tiffany, with incorporating, there are extra fees. So you have to pay fees each year in order to keep your corporation. I would not do my own taxes or anything like that as an incorporated business. There's a lot more record keeping that's required. So you would likely then need to pay an accountant. So there's a lot of extra fees that come with it. And an accountant did tell me once that once you're past the $75,000 a year mark, so when your business is generating $70K or more, the savings that you will get from taxes like offset the expenses. So like from a tax perspective, they said that it's maybe not necessary until you're at that $70K mark. I just don't want to do the extra record keeping, so I just haven't gone that route, which I really should, because one of the other benefits of incorporating is from a like a personal finance standpoint. So you're actually like paying yourself a salary from your corporation rather than just like being like, I don't know, this is how much money I make, and I'm like taking money from my bank account and I don't know where anything's going and it's completely unorganized, as it could be with a sole proprietor, which guilty over here. But when you're incorporated, you're paying yourself a salary, you have income coming in each month, which makes it helpful if you want to buy a house, like if you want to get a mortgage, if you want to do something like that. These lenders want to look to see that you have stable income, and that can be easier to prove if you are running an incorporated business than a sole proprietorship. And that's really like the main thing that like main reason why I would consider incorporating. Because, I want to buy property. I want to do more things with my finances. It's just one of those not been a priority kind of thing. Whew. Okay, so we've registered our name. We've decided, do we want to be a sole proprietor? Do we want to incorporate? Do we want to be a partnership? And you would only be a partnership if you have someone else that you're running your business with. Next thing we can look at here, because you'll have the opportunity to do this on that one website, on that onestop.gov.bc.ca, is you can also opt to register for a GST number at that point. Now, again, this is an opportunity to check in with your intuition and to see, do I want to start charging GST right now or not? If your business has not generated $30,000 yet in the year, like in a 12-month period, you don't have to charge GST. So your business only has to start collecting GST once you hit that $30,000 threshold. So if you're brand new, you probably don't need to start charging it. Now, you can start charging. Just because you don't have to doesn't mean you can't. So one of the benefits of charging GST is that it actually allows you to offset some of what you pay in GST. So let's think of like a really simple example here. Let's say I made $100 in sales. Sad month last month, but let's say I did $100. If I'm charging GST, I would have brought in an additional $5 in GST because GST is 5% of our sales. So I pulled in that $5. Now let's say I spent $50 and $250 was charged to me in GST. Now I can offset that, and when I file my GST for the government, I can be like, look, I brought in $5, but I paid $250, so now I get to keep this $250. So that's one of the benefits. I file my GST quarterly, and I usually keep about like an extra $100 to $200. And it's nice to just have that extra money come into your pocket. So that's one of the benefits of charging GST right from the get-go. Another benefit is that it does make you look more professional. If you're wanting to, this is something that I teach to a lot of the nutritionists when I teach marketing at one of the nutrition schools that I talk about, is like, if you're going to bigger corporations and you are wanting to do corporate lunch and learns, workshops, those kinds of things, and if you say, oh, this is my rate, and there's no GST, they might know that you're like pretty new. And if you don't care, cool, you do you, boo. But if you want to like come across as more professional, being like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, having GST being charged can just add to that, which is silly, but it can. So that's a benefit. Benefit of not doing it is that it's like a little bit of extra, your clients are saving a bit of extra money, and then there's less record keeping for you. So I opted not to charge GST in my business until I actually had to. My personal training clients loved it because it saved them like, at the time my sessions were like $80 an hour, so it saved them like $4 an hour. Not a lot, but they appreciated those savings. And then once I started charging, they were fine with it. What I will say is I had trained a client previously. She gave me an amazing piece of advice, and it was to not, when you file your GST, you can file it quarterly, twice a year, or annually. And she suggested that I do it quarterly just because if you are like me and you let this shit slide, it is a pain in the ass to go back and like do all of your finances and everything all in one go and then like do your GST there. So I do it quarterly, forces me to stay on track with my income and my expenses and everything. Like I said, I get that couple extra, like $100 to $200 every 3 months. And then when it's time for me to do my taxes, it's really simple because I've been keeping up with my books all throughout the year. Sorry, siren in the background. So that's the benefit of doing GST. So things that I talked about in that GST, you can charge it right away. You don't have to until you start earning 30K. And it's really up to you. So feel into, is this something that I want to add on right now? Am I okay with waiting until that and then layering this in later while acknowledging that like it might be a little bit of extra work? And that's that on the GST front. PST, provincial sales tax, only relevant if you sell products. So if you're purely a service-based business owner, I also am not 100% sure about like digital courses and things. I don't think that we're supposed to charge PST, but actually don't quote me on that. I never have. So there's that. GST is like taxes are a whole other conversation, and there's a few other things coming through right now that I should probably talk about in another one. So I'm just going to make note of that. GST. We'll talk all about taxes. Super not fun. And there was one other thing on that I wanted to bring up. Right. So when we are registering, as you're registering for your sole proprietor, partnership, corporation, you're getting your GST all set and ready to go. Something that you're going to encounter when you are registering your business is they're going to ask what kind of business you have. And Court, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. I actually don't know if you are still on or not, but Court had messaged me a couple days ago because she was registering her business. And she was like, I don't know what kind of business to register for. Because the BC government, they have things listed in like agriculture and like health services and things like that. Like they don't have intuitive coach or astrologer or tarot reader, things like that. So realistically, like just pick the one that feels most resonant to you. I think I'm still under health services because I was a personal trainer. You could do consultant, like that was what I suggested to Court, because I was like, you're an astrologer, you're consulting people on their charts. No one is going to come and look at this stuff. No one's going to like be sitting in the BC government website being like, all right, so let's see, Lindsay here, she's registered herself as such and such. Let's go check out her Instagram and see what she's up to today. No one does that. All of this, honestly, like is really just a money grab, in my opinion. No one gives a shit. So pick the one that like feels closest and then don't stress out about it and then just move on. And then last but not least, business licenses. So again, another money grab. This is something that is not dependent upon how much money you're earning or anything like that. This is actually municipal based. So you can go to a website, bizpal.ca, and it will let you know if your municipality requires you to have a business license. And honestly, like I kind of think it's BS. Again, I think a lot of the stuff that I've talked about today is BS. But if you are running a brick and mortar business, I see the need to have a business license, you know, when people are coming into your establishment, stuff like that. But you also technically have to have a business license if you're running an internet-based business from your home. I've not had a business license all of the time through my business operations. I will just say that. And it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Maybe again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but it is something that you do have to look into with what your municipality requires. And you used to have to sign up like through your municipality, but now you can actually, through that initial website I told you about, that one-stop website, you can do everything. So it really is a one-stop shop for all of your 3D business needs. But through there, it's basically like a piece of paper that you pay for that says you're allowed to run a business from your home. Again, I think it's kind of stupid, but these are things that we have to do. So, things that we covered, we talked about registering our name, registering as a sole proprietorship or a corporation. If you go the corporation route, you're going to have some other things to set up. You're probably going to want to have somebody support you in that, like a lawyer or somebody. You are going to be prompted to sign up for your GST, which you could do right away, or you could wait until you're at the $30,000 mark. PST if you need it, and I think PST you do have to start charging right away. I've actually never sold products in that way before, so you know, if you do sell products, quick Google search will tell you. And then your business license, which is all municipal based. So again, not the most fun topics, but again, little things that folks were curious in. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to pop them below. And like I said, this is going to be a weekly series that I'm going to do. And obviously, this is all based off of questions that come in from the community, from our members in our membership, the collective, from you friends here on Instagram. So if there's anything that you're wondering about in business, if there's anything like on the back end that you're curious about how we run it here at 5D or how I do it within my own personal coaching business, please feel free to just send us a DM and let us know. It's really helpful for me to have these questions from people because these are things that I either did so long ago that I don't even think about anymore, or there's such little details that like I love, like I said in the beginning, I love talking about the intuitive side of things. I love bringing the magic into business, and I sometimes just forget about these small things. So, you know, if you're in the early stages of your business and you're like getting tripped up on like kind of the little nitty gritty things, please send us a DM. Let us know what you would like for us to do some of these videos on, and I will happily do that because it is helpful for me to have those prompts. Okay, my friends, go register your businesses, make it a thing, go start making some money, and just keep doing your magical, wonderful things that you do here. Okay, that's that for this week. And I'll be back next week. Times, days, they are totally up in the air. I have an 8-week-old baby. I can't commit to like a specific time and day of the week. So just catch us when you can. And as I said, these will live on our feed as an IGTV. Okay, my friends, have a beautiful day, and I will catch up with you soon. How do I end this? There we go. End.